Okay, so today we're going deep on something pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, this one's a little different.
Yeah, it's not just like a topic or like an issue or whatever. We're kind of getting into like a whole personal journey, right?
Yeah.
But like set against this huge cultural event.
Right.
So you sent over this collection of writings by Matthew McGuire.
Yeah.
You know, he's the guy behind Crescent Vale.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all about his time covering Bonnaroo back in 2015.
Oh, wow.
Now, this wasn't just like another assignment for this guy.
No.
This was like the culmination of like 7 years
Oh, wow.
of trying to get press credentials.
7 years.
7 years, man.
That's some serious dedication.
Yeah. You know, you think about that. That's like a level of persistence.
It really is.
That's kind of inspiring in a way.
It makes you think, like, for you listening out there, the learner.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a goal where you just kept hitting roadblocks?
Right.
Like you kept trying and the door just wouldn't open?
Totally.
Yeah. Matthew's story right from the beginning, it just highlights what it takes to keep going.
Yeah.
When you're truly passionate about something.
Mm-hmm.
And this level of commitment.
Yeah.
You see it all the time in creative fields.
Yeah.
Where persistence is often the only way to break in.
Right. It's like that barrier to entry.
Yeah. And it's super competitive out there these days.
So our deep dive today is all about kind of unpacking that journey.
Yeah.
You know how he finally gets those press passes?
Okay.
And then walking through each day of Bonnaroo from his perspective.
Mm.
We're going to get into the interviews he did with different artists.
Right.
And really try to understand what it all meant to him personally.
Totally.
So we've got his initial announcement when he got the credentials.
Yeah.
His preview articles where he's looking ahead at the schedule and who he wants to see.
Right.
And then his reports from each day of the festival, plus those conversations with the musicians.
Okay, so where do we start?
Well, I think the best place to start is with that moment of acceptance, right?
Yeah, when he finally got that email.
Yeah, he actually shared the whole congratulatory email in his initial statement.
Oh, wow.
And it's actually pretty straightforward, the email itself.
Okay.
But the context he gives it really makes it powerful.
Yeah, I bet.
So I'm just going to read it verbatim.
Okay.
It says, "Congratulations, Matthew McGuire. We are happy to inform you that your application for press credentials has been accepted by the Bonnaroo 2015 Music and Arts Festival, which will be held June 11-14 in Manchester, TN."
Manchester, Tennessee.
That's right.
Okay.
And then it goes on to lay out what those credentials actually got him.
Okay.
So full festival access.
Right.
He could bring his professional camera gear into most areas.
Cool.
Although he did need a separate photo wristband for the pit.
I see.
And then general campground parking and camping.
Okay.
But they also gave him a special parking arrangement for his father.
Oh, wow.
Because his dad had a pretty serious breathing condition.
Oh, wow.
And they were able to park him near the Who stage.
Wow. That's really considerate of them.
Yeah. And that detail about his dad, it's really interesting to me.
Yeah, why is that?
Because it kind of shows that this wasn't just about Matthew, professionally.
Right.
It was something he was sharing with his family.
Yeah, like a family affair.
And that the festival took his father's health into consideration, which probably made the whole thing even more validating for him.
Yeah, totally.
It wasn't just about him getting in. It was they were welcoming his whole family
Right.
and making sure everyone was comfortable.
Yeah, and it's not just the validation.
Right.
It's this realization of a vision
Yeah.
that he's had for 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
That's got to feel pretty heavy.
It does. And he actually describes it as such a big moment.
Yeah, I can imagine.
After 7 years of rejections,
It's got to feel amazing.
finally getting that approval. It's this huge weight lifted.
Validation accomplishment.
Yeah, total turning point.
Absolutely.
I think for anyone listening,
Yeah.
think about a time you've put years of effort into something,
Yeah.
and then you finally achieve it.
Right.
That moment of breakthrough.
Yeah,
That's what this is for Matthew.
exactly.
So leading up to the festival, Matthew wrote 2 preview articles.
Oh, cool.
And the first one was published on June 5th, 2015.
Oh,
And it was all about the Bonnaroo schedule.
the schedule. Okay.
He starts by talking about how they were expecting 80,000 people to attend.
Wow, 80,000.
Yeah, so huge.
Yeah.
And he emphasizes his own connection to Bonnaroo,
Oh, right.
which goes all the way back to 2002.
Oh, wow.
the first year they did it.
So he's like an OG Bonnaroovian.
Totally. And I think that's part of what fueled his desire to like cover it professionally.
Yeah, makes sense.
But he wasn't just like looking at the schedule, you know?
Right.
He was creating a guide for people,
Oh, that's cool.
highlighting all the artist conflicts.
Oh, yeah, because there's always so much going on.
So
Yeah,
good.
she's
And he gave some specific examples.
like what?
So Thursday night,
Yeah.
you had Mac DeMarco Jungle and Grammatic all playing at the same time.
Oh, man, that's rough.
Yeah, and he admitted he was like a Grammatic fan.
So he was rooting for Grammatic.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And then Friday late night, it was Deadmau 5 versus Flying Lotus.
Oh, wow. Tough choice.
Yeah, he mentioned seeing Deadmau 5 back in 2010,
Okay.
but he was also really intrigued by Flying Lotus,
I can see why.
especially because there was this possibility of Kendrick Lamar showing up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Kendrick was playing earlier that night,
Okay.
and people were speculating he might make a guest appearance.
That would be awesome.
And then the other big conflict, Saturday late night.
Okay.
Bass Nectar versus the Super Jam.
Oh, man, that's a tough one.
I know, right?
What was he leaning towards?
He actually drew this really interesting parallel to the 2002 Super Jam,
Okay.
which happened at the same time as The Dead.
Interesting.
And I think he was kind of suggesting like a generational difference there.
Yeah, like maybe the younger crowd is more into Bass Nectar,
Maybe.
and the older folks are like reliving the glory days with the Super Jam.
Right, exactly.
Interesting.
But what I love is that he was like really thinking about this stuff.
Yeah.
Like putting himself in the shoes of someone who's actually going to the festival
Right.
and having to make these tough choices.
Totally.
He even included images of the official schedule
Oh, wow.
for each day.
Nice.
So you can really see like how much was going on.
Yeah, you get a sense of the scale.
The sheer volume of options.
Definitely.
And then his second preview article came out a bit earlier.
Okay.
It was published on March 31st, 2015.
Right.
And this one was his top 5 acts for the festival.
Oh, cool.
And his criteria were artists he hadn't seen live before,
Okay.
or those who are known for like evolving their sound.
Oh, interesting. So like artists that are pushing boundaries.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So his top 5 were Florence, Plus the Machine, Kendrick Lamar,
Ramanique?
Grammatic again. Yeah, he was really into Grammatic, Punch Brothers, and My Morning Jacket.
Nice, a good mix.
And then he even had a 6th pick,
Who was that?
the very best.
The very best. Okay.
Yeah, and I think this list gives us some insight into like his personal taste
Yeah, for sure.
and what he was most excited about at Bonnaroo.
Totally.
And I think, you know, if we connect this to the bigger picture,
Yeah.
it suggests that his editorial focus for Crescent Vale
Mm-hmm.
was probably on artists who were like innovative
Right.
and offered something unique.
Yeah. Breaking new ground.
Exactly.
So what about the festival itself?
All right, so let's jump into Thursday evening,
Okay.
which Matthew described as like a showcase for fresh new talent.
Cool.
He mentions that he got to the festival grounds without any problems,
Nice.
which is always a good start.
Yeah, you don't want to be dealing with travel headaches.
Right.
Especially at a festival.
Especially at Bonnaroo.
Okay.
And this is interesting
Yeah.
because other people were reporting like traffic jams and stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so he kind of lucked out there.
He did.
He then describes like his initial exploration of the festival,
Okay.
being in the sights of the Centeroo Fountain
Yeah.
and all the different vendors.
Okay.
And he actually takes a moment to reflect on how fashion trends at Bonnaroo have changed over the years.
Interesting.
He had been in 2002, 2003, 2009, and 2010.
Oh, wow. So he's seen it all.
Yeah, he's like a veteran.
Yeah.
And it shows how he's witnessed like the cultural evolution of the festival firsthand.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Ah.
He also mentions waiting in a really long line for Snake and Jake's Christmas Club barn,
Okay.
which ended up not being his thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah.
But he did meet up with his brother and sister-in-law
Yep.
before the Tovlo concert in that tent.
Right.
And he talks about how crowded it was.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
Like, it took him 10 to 15 minutes just to find them.
Wow.
Yeah, and he even makes a funny comment about those tall rage sticks people carry.
Oh, yeah, those things.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
I do, yeah.
Yeah. He's like, I always wondered what those were for.
Right.
Like, they're helpful for finding people in a crowd.
They are, yeah.
So anyway, he sees Tovlo,
Okay.
and his main takeaway was that the bass was really loud.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but, you know, that's just his opinion.
Sure.
Some people love that.
Of course.
But his real focus that night was Grammatic.
Ah, yes, his favorite.
Right. But before that,
Yeah.
he actually got to see Rubble Ducket on the Who stage.
Oh.
And he was pleasantly surprised.
What did he like about them?
He liked their experimental rock sound.
Okay.
And he even mentioned that they had collaborated with Lotus in the past.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so their music is kind of like a blend of traditional rock,
Okay.
but with these like unexpected sounds and arrangements,
Interesting.
like catchy melodies, but with a twist.
I like that.
Yeah, and it's funny because it makes you think about
What?
how sometimes the best parts of a festival
Yeah.
are those unexpected discoveries.
Right. The stuff you weren't planning on seeing.
Exactly. Anyway, after Rubble Bucket, he makes this really insightful observation about the Thursday night crowds.
Oh, what's that?
He suggests that having more live sets on the main stages
Okay.
might be a good idea because the tents were already getting super packed.
Even on the first night?
Yeah, even on Thursday.
Right.
So it sounds like they might have underestimated the turnout a bit.
Maybe, yeah.
So then he finally makes his way to the other tent for Grammatic.
Okay.
And it was packed.
I bet.
He describes it as like a sea of people.
Wow.
And he had to really push his way through
Just to get a spot.
just to get a decent view.
Wow. So he was really dedicated.
He was,
Oh.
but it sounds like it was worth it.
Okay. What happened?
So Grammatic opened with Torture,
Nice.
and Gibbs was there playing electric steel guitar.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it was awesome.
I like Kibbs.
And the crowd was huge and super enthusiastic.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and Matthew even mentions that Grammatic himself
Yeah.
was surprised by the turnout on a Thursday.
Oh,
Like, he wasn't expecting that many people.
okay.
But then get this.
Right.
They played a cover of Prince's Kiss
Oh, wow.
with Gibbs singing.
That's amazing.
You know, right?
Wow.
So then we have the interview with Grammatic, which
Okay.
actually came out before the festival.
Oh,
Yeah, it was published on May 26, 2015.
okay.
So it gives us this like pre-festival look at his mindset.
That's cool.
Yeah. So Grammatic was closing out the other tent on Thursday,
Mm-hmm.
and it was his first time ever playing Bonnaroo.
Oh, wow.
And he brought Russ Liquid and Gibbs with him.
Oh, nice. The whole crew.
Yeah. So Russ Liquid plays trumpet, saxophone, and keys.
Okay.
And we already talked about Gibbs on guitar and vocals.
Right.
And, Matthew was clearly really into that live instrumentation aspect.
Yeah, he seemed to appreciate that a lot.
Yeah, he did.
Cool.
So in the interview, Grammatic talks about how Thursday night is like this potential launching pad
Oh, yeah.
for breakthrough artists.
Right.
And he admits that he was hoping for that himself.
Makes sense.
Yeah, he had been in the industry for like 6 years at that point.
Okay.
And they also talked about his collaboration with Raekwon and Orlando Napier.
On Native Son?
Yeah,
That was a great track.
it was. And it was clearly like a big deal for Grammatic.
Oh, yeah.
Like a bucket list thing to work with Raekwon.
Definitely.
And then he talks about how he's really focused on live instrumentation in his shows.
They stand out.
Exactly. It's not just him DJing up there.
Right.
He's got a full band.
Bringing the energy.
Totally.
Us.
And he's really intentional about creating music that's both creative
Yeah.
and like fun for the audience. Like
Right.
he wants people to have a good time.
Makes sense.
We also get a glimpse into his summer tour plans.
Oh, yeah?
And he mentions that he prefers to tour Europe on double-decker buses.
Oh, why is that?
He says it's for the privacy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I guess when you're on the road that much,
Yeah.
you need your space.
You do.
But perhaps the most revealing part of the interview
What's that?
is when he talks about how he's really interested in like discovering and supporting new producers.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and he specifically mentions artists like Miljo AC,
Oh,
Haywire Ramzoid,
yeah.
and Electric Mantis.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'll have to check him out.
Yeah, they're all really talented.
And his label is Low Temp Music, right?
That's right.
So he's giving them a platform.
Exactly. He's like nurturing this new generation of electronic music.
That's awesome.
So moving on to Friday,
Okay.
Matthew describes it as a day filled with like a really wide range of genres.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and he notes that he's starting to appreciate
Yeah.
like forms of expression beyond just music.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, he mentions the Academy,
Okay.
which had all these interactive workshops.
Cool.
And then there was Brownout Presence, Brown Sabbath.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah, it was pretty unique.
What is it?
So Brownout is this Latin funk band,
Okay.
and they were covering Black Sabbath songs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was really cool.
That's a cool combination.
And then there was an advanced screening of the film Being Evil in the cinema tent.
Oh, nice. A little break from the music.
Yeah, and he was pointing out how there's all these different things to do at Bonnaroo.
Right. It's not just about the bands.
Exactly.
Okay.
He also talks about how Bonnaroo's natural setting
Yeah.
makes it different from city-based festivals.
Right.
And he even mentions Billy Joel,
Oh, yeah.
who later compared it to Woodstock.
Oh, wow. That's high praise.
Yeah, it is.
Cool.
And this is a small detail, but I thought it was interesting.
What's that?
He mentions that some people were using DUBS acoustic filters.
Oh, yeah, those are cool.
Yeah, they like reduce the volume, but without distorting the sound.
Right, it protects your ears.
Exactly.
I've used those before.
So Friday afternoon, he starts with Moon Taxi on the Witch stage.
Okay.
And they're like a progressive rock band from Nashville.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and it sounds like he really enjoyed their set.
Cool.
Then as the sun started to set, he caught Sylvan Esso in the other tent. Yeah, they're like electropop.
Okay.
And the crowd was apparently super into it.
That's cool.
And he also mentions meeting people from all over the country
Yeah.
and seeing international flags.
Wow.
So it really is like a global gathering.
It is.
And then as dusk settled, he saw Casey Musgraves.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and he mentions that she was doing some kind of promotion with Zodiac vodka.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, you know, brands are always trying to get in on the action.
Of course.
But anyway, it sounds like Friday was a day where he just like immersed himself in all these
Yeah.
different musical experiences.
That's soaking it all up.
Exactly.
So what about the Odessa interview?
Yes. So that was published on June 13th, 2015.
Okay, so right in the middle of the festival.
Right.
Yeah.
And they had just finished their Friday night set in this tent,
Okay.
which he described as like a really powerful and sweaty performance.
I can imagine.
Yeah, and they had a horn section.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was cool.
So they were mixing electronic music with live horns.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
And it's funny because in the interview, Harrison Mills mentions that he's a fan of Atmosphere.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And he specifically brings up the album God Loves Ugly.
Oh, wow. That's a classic.
Yeah, it is.
So he's got a good taste in hip-hop.
He does. And then Clayton Knight makes this comment about how
Yeah.
they haven't had much time to experience the festival yet.
Oh,
Because it was so hot.
Yeah.
And they'd been drinking a little bit.
Sounds about right.
Right, it's Bonnaroo.
It is.
But they do talk about their music.
Yeah.
And they describe it as intentionally genre-bending.
Interesting.
Yeah, they cite influences from indie soul, hip-hop, electronic, experimental,
Wow.
even punk music.
So like a little bit of everything.
Pretty much.
Cool.
And their attraction to Bonnaroo seems to be like its size and its
Yeah.
reputation.
Makes sense. It's a legendary festival.
It is.
Yeah.
They also talk about how performing at a festival is
Yeah.
different from playing an indoor show.
Right.
Like the energy is different,
Totally.
especially in a tent. It's like this contained energy.
Right.
And then Clayton Knight gives this really interesting overview of Seattle's music scene.
Oh, yeah. What's he saying?
So he talks about how it went from grunge
Okay.
to folk to hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's hoping that electronic music will be the next big thing.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's cool to hear his perspective on that.
It is.
And then Harrison Mills sums up Bonnaroo in one word:
What's the word?
sweaty.
Sweaty.
Sweaty,
Accurate.
very
Yeah, yeah,
accurate.
Yeah.
And they also mention that they're working on remixes.
Oh, cool. For who?
Porter Robinson, Emancipator,
Nice.
and someone else.
Okay, cool.
Oh, and Matthew also briefly mentions seeing Medeski, Schofield, Martin, and Wood,
Okay.
and STS-9 in that tent on Friday night.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so Medeski, Schofield, Martin, Wood, they're like these veteran jazz musicians.
Okay.
And they've played Bonnaroo a bunch of times.
Right.
And then STS-9 is more like electronic dance music,
Okay.
but like a more intense kind of. So yeah, Friday was like a really diverse day musically.
Sound like it.
All right, so Saturday,
Okay.
Matthew described it as like a melting pot of cultures,
Wow.
both national and international.
Okay.
He mentions Priory opening the music under this tent.
All right.
And then there was comedy.
Oh, yeah.
Ralphie May, Jeff Ross, and Mark Normand.
Oh, wow. A good lineup.
Yeah, they were all performing in the comedy tent.
Okay.
And this was a first for Matthew.
What was that?
He actually camped with his father while he was covering the festival.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it was like a family affair.
That's cool.
And his dad even interviewed Taylor Showmaker.
Who's that?
He's the director of operations for Bonnaroo,
Okay.
and they talked about the festival's community initiatives
Oh, cool.
and their green efforts.
Nice.
So it was this really cool behind-the-scenes perspective.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Matthew himself attended a preview screening and Q&A for the show Sex and Drugs and Rock and Roll.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, with Dennis Leary. And Dennis was like really engaging with the audience, asking them which episode they wanted to watch.
Oh, wow.
And Matthew quotes him as saying,
Yeah.
vote if you want to watch the first, second, or third episode for Sex and Drugs and Rock and Roll.
That's funny.
Yeah, it was like a really fun, laid-back atmosphere.
Cool.
So after that, Matthew talked to Taylor Showmaker himself,
Okay.
and they talked about the whole like family and community approach
Yeah.
that Bonnaroo is known for.
Mm-hmm.
And Showmaker even describes Bonnaroo as a city.
Interesting.
Yeah, like a temporary city that
Ah.
fosters these new connections.
That's cool.
So then he saw bleachers in this tent,
Okay.
followed by Gary Clark Jr.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and he was really impressed with Gary Clark Jr.'s guitar playing.
Oh, yeah, he's amazing.
He is.
Yeah.
But he did say that the set felt similar to one he had seen before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and the same thing happened with Childish Gambino.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, his dad actually nicknamed him Pissed Off Gambino.
Uh-huh. That's funny.
Because he seemed kind of angry on stage.
Okay.
But again, Matthew noted that it was similar to past performances he had seen.
So maybe that's just his stage persona.
Yeah, maybe.
Cool.
Then there was My Morning Jacket on the What stage.
Oh, yeah.
And he was really excited about this because he thought they might collaborate with the Preservation Hall Jazz Band.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but it didn't really happen the way he expected.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah, it was a little disappointing.
That happens sometimes.
It does.
Oh.
He also caught part of Mumford & Sons' set,
Okay.
but he missed their big jam session at the end.
Oh, no.
Yeah, he was bummed about that.
I bet.
But he does include a quote from Marcus Mumford.
Oh, yeah. What do you say?
He called Bonnaroo the greatest festival in America, if not the world.
Wow. That's a bold statement.
It is.
Cool.
But then the highlight of Saturday night
Okay.
was the old school block party super jam in the other tent.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Who was there?
So Child 2NA was there.
Oh, wow.
And Zach Galifianakis and John Hamm showed up.
No way.
Yeah.
What were they doing there?
They sang We Are the World.
What?
Yeah, it was crazy.
Wow, that's random.
It was. And Chance the Rapper also performed.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was like a huge party.
Sounds like it.
And Matthew actually contrasts it with Slayer's set,
Oh, yeah.
which was earlier that day.
Okay.
And he describes the Super Jam as controlled madness.
Huh.
Yeah, so Slayer was like pure intensity, and Super Jam was more like organized chaos,
Right.
but in a good way.
Right.
And it was led by Pretty Lights.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and it was kind of continuing this tradition
Yeah.
from the year before where Skrillex had been involved.
Okay.
But for Matthew personally,
Yeah.
Chally 2NA was the highlight.
Because of Jurassic 5?
Yeah, he had seen Jurassic 5 at Bonnaroo back in 2002.
Oh, wow.
And it was like a really special moment for him.
I bet.
Yeah, so you can see how these
Yeah.
moments can have like a really deep meaning
Cool.
for people who've been going to Bonnaroo for a long time.
For sure.
So then Sunday rolls around,
Sunday.
and Matthew starts the day with a peaceful sunrise.
Nice.
Yeah, but there's also this like bittersweet feeling
Oh, yeah.
because it's the last day.
Right.
He mentions Bella Fleck having a film screening and Q&A.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it was about his banjo concerto.
Banjo Concerto.
Yeah, interesting.
With the Nashville Symphony Orchestra.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it just shows how Bonnaroo is about more than just like pop music.
Right, it's like a whole spectrum of art.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He also mentions that the weather was warm,
Okay,
but ideal.
nice.
Yeah, not too hot.
Good.
And then there was the Bluegrass Situation stage,
Okay.
which was curated by Ed Helms.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
Yeah, so it was all bluegrass music,
Nice.
both traditional and contemporary.
Cool.
And Bella Fleck and Abigail Washburn performed,
Okay.
along with Punch Brothers.
Nice.
And there was even a bluegrass super jam.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was.